There's an ever-going debate in the gaming community that for some reason is still going on even after all this time. I thought it was pretty obvious what the correct answer is, but apparently there are still people who think 30 FPS is better than 60 FPS when it comes to game performance. Now, why am I talking about this again? Well, I saw something crazy on Twitter the other day. I saw this tweet from GTA 6 Info, who said that a former Rockstar Games developer claims that players will prefer playing GTA 6 at 30 FPS over 60 FPS. It's a competitive action game, you'd always go for 60 FPS, but for GTA, you might prefer the visual details. Now, I don't know who the former dev was that said this, and the chances are that this could be out of context in just one snippet out of a sentence that he said, but either way, this gathered quite a lot of attention. I quoted this tweet and said, "That kind of talk must be why he's a former dev," which might sound a bit harsh. Look, it's a bit of a joke. I don't have any ill will towards any of the Rockstar devs, obviously, except maybe for the ones who coded the orbital cannon and the Oppressor Mark II, but that's another topic. Anyways, this tweet triggered a lot of people to my surprise, and some people actually defended 30 FPS. Now let me preface some of the replies that I found hysterical by showing you guys how this dev is completely wrong first, and that most people do in fact prefer playing games at 60 FPS. From Mark Cerny, the lead architect behind the PS5 Pro himself.
When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
So there you have it from Mark Cerny himself, saying that most people prefer performance modes. I don't know how anyone can say that they would rather play GTA at 30 FPS than at 60 FPS. Games are objectively better played when they're running at 60 FPS than they are at 30 FPS. It's just a fact. And this isn't about any technical limitations if GTA 6 could actually run at 60 FPS. I've already gone over that in another video. It's just a matter of, would you rather play GTA at 30 or 60 frames? And for some reason, people don't seem to understand this and even go as far as to defend the 30 FPS. And by far the funniest reply was this one right here. Movies are shot in 25 FPS. They want the game to look like a movie. You're dumb. You just cannot make that comparison between movies and games. I've seen this argument a lot, actually, and I feel like this has to be rage bait because I find it hard to believe that anyone is lacking so much intelligence to make this argument. The main reason you want 60 FPS in games is for input responsiveness. It makes the game feel better. You're not controlling a movie, you are watching a movie. Therefore, you want the movie to look the best it can be, and the frame rate doesn't matter because you don't feel that difference because you're not playing it. There's no way people actually want 30 FPS, bruh. We don't want it, but if it means the game looking better and taking more advantage of the visual maximum, then 30 is absolutely fine. You never played GTA San Andreas on PS2, and it shows. I don't know why we are using games from over 20 years ago to justify the lack of performance in games today. It is the year 2025 now, and without a doubt, the game will look amazing if they can't get it to run at 60 FPS. No one's arguing that, but it shouldn't be something to praise that a game runs at 30 FPS in my opinion. Years ago, 30 FPS was the norm for console games. Back on the 360, I can probably count on one hand how many games actually ran at 60 FPS. The only one that comes to mind is Call of Duty. Not even the old Battlefield games on 360 ran at 60 FPS, but times change. Most games these days come with a performance mode and a fidelity mode, so if GTA 6 doesn't have that, then people are going to get mad at it. And I've also played GTA San Andreas on the PS2, but I've also played something much worse. gtaonline on the Xbox One. So many people don't talk about this when it comes to game performance, specifically GTA games performance, but look at how badly gtaonline ran on the Xbox One. Drops to 13 FPS at times in populated lobbies. I played this shit for like 9 years until the Series X version came out, and it was god awful. I do not want a rerun of this. And not to mention, even with the game running at its normal 30 FPS without any drops, GTA 5 at least has this stupid setting called half sync that makes the input latency even worse than it already would be at 30 FPS. I don't know if the current gen version uses it in fidelity mode, but I almost feel like it does because the input latency in fidelity mode is just horrible. It is a noticeable difference, almost unplayable how much latency there is. Sure, it looks super sharp running at native 4K with all the highest graphics settings, but if I can't control my character within the game properly, then it's for nothing. I want the game to feel good. And this is the exact reason why I strive for 60 FPS, because of how bad the situation got with GTA 5 and its controls and performance, even while being a targeted 30 FPS game on the Xbox One. And I just don't want to have to deal with that again. If I absolutely have to play it at 30 FPS, I will, of course. I'm not going to just skip out on the biggest game of all time because of that. But it's gonna feel like shit to play compared to 60, and there is no denying that. So yeah, I don't know how this discussion between 30 and 60 FPS and which one feels better is still going on, but it's pretty stupid. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments. Do you play in performance mode, or are you someone who actually prefers 30 FPS? If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.